Hello, welcome back. On RealCopStoriesVideos.com, if you want to ask me some questions about these stories or make some comments, go on here. It's rsbcopstories@gmail.com. If you think I remember it by now, I've done a few of these. Anyway, so go ahead and do that, and I appreciate it. Okay, the next story is a narcotic story. I've told some really flashy stories in the past, but this is just a routine, what we do every day. I got reassigned to work with a top step detective, and wasn't very well liked. And I think he was kind of a racist too. I think he didn't like Latinos, but I won't even admit to that, but I'm not sure. You know, you get a gut feeling when you work this profession. But he had a squad of 6 guys working for him, and this is the kind of guy that likes to do everything himself, even though he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay? And he had a bunch of us working for him, myself, another guy, and this other detective. We'd all been in narcotics a while, and he's only been there a short time in an administrative position. Why they put people like that in the field, I don't know. So whenever he was here, we did things he wanted to do, and there was no arrest being made because he didn't know what he was doing. And he's the kind of person that he thinks he knows a lot of things, and he will not ask other people for input, and therefore he doesn't receive what I receive later is all this intelligence from your people. You pick people and they give you input all the time about different things you can do. So one day he was off, and every time he was off, we made arrests. It's really strange. And I had a guy in the squad that was an expert in profiling. Now that's a bad word they use nowadays, but in those days, profiling was someone who could actually sit at a airport, terminal or airport gates, people coming in, bus stops, and just stand there and watch people and watch what they're carrying, watch their mannerisms, while they look around, all the things they do, and he can actually pick somebody out, take him to the side, tell him who he is, and seize narcotics, which is really a neat art to do that. It really is strange, and people have the right to refuse to talk to an officer. They always have the right, but I'm sure a lot of people think, well, an officer talks to me, I have to talk to him. Well, you don't, legally, you don't have to, but officers word things a certain way, not lying, to elicit information from people. Just like you see on TV where they get a confession from somebody, and you watch like some of these cop shows, 48 Hours and all these different ones. They have a way of talking, these officers. I could never do it. And they solicit confessions, and it holds up in court because they're not beating anybody or they're not threatening them with violence. They just talk to them and talk to them. Most people, even criminals, sometimes want to tell the truth for whatever reason. They usually have motivation to tell the truth. You know, I didn't do it, but if I had done it, that kind of thing. Or my friend drove the car, but I've been to prisons where they say in an offshoot here, where they'll tell you all the guys in here are going to tell you they're innocent. And when you pin them down to a crime, they're going to say, well, I did it, but. That's the answer, B-U-T, but, not the other but. Okay, so anyway. So I said, why don't we go to the Greyhound terminal, let's see if you can profile somebody, let's see what you can do. You can, what? No one's ever asked him that. This guy's an expert in it, okay? That's because our boss was an idiot. He goes, okay, how many people you need? Oh, just one guy with me and then maybe 2 guys in case he wants to fight. Oh, there's 5, but just go. Okay, so we go to the Greyhound terminal, huge. And so we have a little plan ahead of time in the parking lot. We're all plain clothes, and he says, "Well, I'm gonna do this. I'll stand by the door as they're coming off, and when I see someone, I'll give you a nod, and then you pick a partner, and you both walk up to him, identify yourselves, and we'll stand in the background as backup to make sure that there isn't a foot pursuit or someone's going to fight, and then we're going to jump them. Okay, so fine. So that was a big master plan. Okay, big deal. Didn't have any radios or anything like that. It was all just verbal and hand signals and all that stuff. Okay, so we're standing there maybe 20 minutes. Bus pulls up, people getting off. There's a difference between somebody who's going to pick on people and somebody who's a profiler. Somebody to pick on people, he'll get tired of seeing people who just grab a guy. No, that's not the right thing to do. This guy stood there, turned around, looked at us. The bus emptied, big bus. Turned around and goes, nothing there. See, he's an expert. He knows what he's looking for. We don't know. That's the 6th sense, 7th sense, whatever you want to call it. The guy's pretty sharp. Next bus pulls up, same thing. Next bus pulls up. And he's looking, then he goes like this. He nods his head, and the guy gets off the bus, okay? Getting off the bus. Caucasian guy, which I thought was kind of strange. Young kid about his 20s, carrying a kind of a large bag, and that's all he had. So he's walking down to the lot, almost gets to the door, and then these 2 guys walk up, identify themselves. Again, the look on his face, an expert picked up on that. He kind of went, I have my mask on, but he kind of like taken aback, and you could see he was either flight or flight. He didn't know what to do. Fright or flight. I mean, he's like, I thought, here it comes. I'm like, here we go. He's going to run. We don't know, what do we have? Just nothing yet. Oh, okay. So he's nodding like this, and he's telling me, just come over here, and they go off to the side so nobody can see what we're doing. We want an audience, so to speak. So everything's pretty low key. So they're talking and talking. I can't hear what he's saying yet because I'm supposed to be back watching. And I'm a supervisor, so I don't want to get involved in investigation because then I wind up being in court. I don't mind it, but our policy says I'm a supervisor. I shouldn't be doing that. So I'm watching. I see a guy nodding his head, and then he picks up his bag. The suspect picks up his bag, puts it on a little chair they had there with a TV set. You can actually watch TV there in the old days. And then he unzips it, and the officer looks in, and then he looks at his partner and gives a nod, and the cuffs go on him. I say, "Oh, we got something." Okay, it was really good, that quick. Okay, so he looks at us, gives me a nod. We walk up, and I go, "What do you got?" He goes, "Look inside. It's about 40 grand in cash." Okay, cash, 10,000 bundles. Okay, well, 4 bundles. But anyway, so I'm looking there going, "Whoa," because I've booked a lot of money in the years past, and they bundle them in $10,000 packs, $100 bills, and so it's easy to pick that out. And okay, who carries that kind of money? He was coming from Tennessee or something. Okay, a white kid. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, they're completing a transaction. Okay, I can say that. Probably narcotics, most assuredly. But okay, so I said okay. So then I give him the finger up. We didn't have phones then, so I told him, "Give me a second." I go to the ticket counter, badge him, get their phone. I call the dog out, let the dogs out. Okay. And I call for a narc dog. So he shows up in the parking lot. They drive around the city pretty much like they're roving units because there's 18 narcotic units in this city. And for any given time, they'll be calling for dogs. So they just kind of roll around listen to the radio. And he was close. He was downtown, so he came right to our location. So I tell him what's going on. He says, okay. And then he comes in so he don't taint the evidence. He tells one of us went out to the parking lot and told one of us to put it someplace because he doesn't want to touch it because the dog handler and teaching the dog might have some smelling in his hands. So when they go to court, he can say, "I didn't touch the bag in question, somebody else did." Try to make sure you have to look ahead here for the court case. You might be in front of a jury. You have to, make sure it's honest, above board, and there's no tainting, double term there, of the evidence here. Okay? So we took it, and the guy that profiled him put it over there next to a dumpster, and we all kind of stood back, and the suspect's sitting there with his handcuffed, and dog comes out. And if you've ever seen these dogs in action, they're incredible. I mean, I'll side note here. They're so excited. They're playing a game, hide and seek. Okay, they're running around, they're jumping up and down. Okay, let's go, find it. And he's looking for his toy. And when they teach them, their toy has got a scent of the cocaine in it, or whatever drug they're using. So he's looking for his toy. So he's over there. So he's following him, with the leash. And of course, people now in the park are looking like, whoa, because the only person there that's got a uniform on is the dog handler. We're all just plain guys sitting there. There he goes. And then, boom, he hits it. And he goes, whoa, and and the handler knows when he hits it because he rears up, and handler has to pull him because he wants to get to his toy. He starts going like this, so he has to pull him back, otherwise he'll ruin the item that's packaged in. He's like, okay, he goes like, that's the bag, obviously. So I'm looking at the guy, and he's sitting there like he puts his head down, Okay, so that was pretty cool. So get him off the side. He puts the dog back in the air-conditioned truck, which they should have because it's hot there. And picks out his forms, an affidavit that what he did, and then we put the bundle in the trunk of our car, and he goes in the car, and off we go to the station. We checked some things, checked him out. He was clean. So this is what we did. We booked the money as evidence because of the dog hit on the narcotics of the smell. And then what I found out later on, asset forfeiture of the county and city come out, and they make the money a defendant. I think I got this right. And then if you want your money back, you have to come in and explain how you got it with your documentation. And then the district attorney will decide whether there's enough there to release the money to you or not. Okay? And that's how it's done. And so I don't know how you and I could actually justify coming in and explaining how I got my $40,000 cash. Okay? Maybe a check. You sold a car. Maybe you bought a house, your parents died, you got a check from the estate, who knows? But cash, another one of my stories, cash, no, not that much cash. So we didn't arrest them. We gave them all the information, gave them a receipt, said you can go here, asset forfeiture unit, you can call the district attorney's office, but the money is gone because the money's tainted. The dog reacted to it, so now you're gonna have to come in and explain. Well, I sold a car. Don't tell us. We're not that part of the unit. You go talk to go get an attorney. Go to the district attorney's office. They are in charge of this investigation now. And he wasn't happy about that, but he left. Well, I got a feeling the reason why he's unhappy about that is because he has to figure out how he's going to get this money to whoever it's supposed to go to. That's not a good thing, okay? And so you know, that was our quote arrest. The city and county shared the 40,000. And believe me, I don't do this for the money. I got none of it. I wish I did. I wish I got money for every arrest I made, but no. So we found out months later that, because once in a while we check on some of our cases, we checked on this one. And I think it was like 5 or 6 months later, it's not sitting there. They actually take it and put it in an account. And then if he comes and gets somebody, they just write a check and give it to him. They don't keep the cash laying in some drawer. It's put in a bank, in an account for that reason. And then it's distributed back to the person who owns it, if in fact he can do that. And I was in narcotics 25 years. I never heard of anybody ever getting their money back. Zero. Okay, so that tells me they're all some kind of criminal activity. Anyway, I'm running out of time here, but that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little interesting thing about how things happen. Okay, bye-bye.